Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗀. Today, guys, we're going to be diving into the world of Electroneum and specifically talking about the price action of ETN and also some massive news for Electroneum as well. As we get into this video, if you do find this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗀. With that said, done out of the way, let's dive down right into Electroneum here to see exactly what is going on. Now, guys, we're going to actually take a look at the news first. We're going to dive into what's going on in the background of Electroneum, and then we're going to dive into the technical analysis to see exactly what could potentially happen next here with ETN. So we're going to start things off with this fantastic piece of news that was kind of come out not that long ago, about a day or so, and basically the Digital Pound Foundation launches, aiming to promote a UK CBDC. Okay, and again, there's lots of stuff going on in the background. Obviously, the Bank of England have been pretty prominent in the space of actually trying to come up with a CBDC framework for it. They've been experimenting around with lots of different kind of blockchain technology. Ripple have been involved. We've got a whole host of others like Corda, R3, etc., etc. But this particular article here is actually quite interesting. So, basically, a Digital Pound Foundation has been set up, aiming to basically just promote, the UK to actually create a CBDC. So, a group of crypto advocates and firms are forming a new coalition to push the United Kingdom to issue a central bank digital currency, CBDC. The Digital Pound Foundation announced its launch today, aiming to support the implementation of a well-designed digital pound and digital money ecosystem. Members or member firms include Accenture, okay, many people are familiar with those guys. Avalanche, again, big on Avalanche here on the channel. Billion Group, CGI Group, Electroneum, hence the Electroneum news today, Quant, and of course Ripple. Ripple have been pretty pushing this one for quite a while, along with Quant and Accenture. So again, this isn't something that's new to Ripple, Quant, or Accenture, but obviously these other players in the space coming in and basically forming this coalition will really help try to push that further forward. And on that note, Electroneum are also on that list, so we can obviously speculate what their involvement is likely to be and what they're going to come up with in helping, get the United Kingdom on board with the central bank digital currency, of which I do think actually is already in the pipeline, in the works. There's a whole framework being created by the BIS, so the Bank of International Settlement. You've had a whole host of central banks around the world. I think there's like 7 of them that have been helping the BIS actually come up with the framework and the structure for a central bank digital currency, but it's not going to be quick and easy to actually implement, specifically on what they're trying to do and the implications of that as a whole entire ecosystem that's going to be affected by a new payment system and ecosystem of a CBDC or a series of CBDCs just for central banks, but then we also have to consider retail banks and the everyday user as well. So this is going to be, something that's going to take quite a bit of time. It's not something that we're going to see happen instantaneously. In fact, I think it's going to be something that we're going to see probably happen by 2025, which is why on this channel, we often talk about the next couple of cycles, the 2025 cycle and the 2030 cycle. These are the last couple, I do believe, that are going to be serious gains made within the ecosystem. So right now we are super early. We're experiencing a bull run where there's a huge amount of volatility. But over the next kind of decade, we're going to see less and less volatility. But there is, of course, huge opportunities in 2025 and 2030. Now, we've obviously been spending quite a bit of time looking at roadmaps when it comes to central bank digital currencies. And pretty much most central banks around the world, if you just visit their websites, all the information of what they've been doing and what they've been up to is already available there. You just have to go and search for it on their websites. And as a result, you can actually find their project plans and ultimately the kind of timelines that they're looking for. A lot of these central banks are actually already on the roadmap to creating a CBDC of themselves anyway, and most of them are kind of aiming around that 2023 to 2025 marker. And again, that's going to have huge implications to the next bull run with a kind of understanding of mass adoption just around the corner, right? So everything that we are talking about in terms of 2021 right now, and obviously we are expecting a huge pullback in the bear market, 70 to 90% will be lost out of most of these cryptocurrencies and the regular way that profits are taken. That's going to become less and less volatile as we get closer and closer to the CBDCs and obviously mass adoption. The more money that comes in towards the crypto space, the bigger the part is going to be and the harder it's going to be to manipulate and the less volatile it's going to end up being. That being said, though, central bank digital currencies, like what this foundation is trying to do, is all about actually keeping something centralized rather than decentralized in the way that we have, blockchain technology that you know and love today. Ultimately, a CBDC is actually centralized within the central bank, digital or the central bank itself, right? And again, that CBDC might not be something that you, as a retail investor or just an everyday citizen of the country, might actually use. Instead, there might be a whole separate digital pound or digital dollar that the retail banks would actually use that you would actually be buying. This is a central bank digital currency. And again, this is going to have huge implications. So this is why it's also worth reading the report from the BIS to understand a little bit more. Now, I do know that 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓 actually did a whole video on this, well worth watching because it goes into a bit of the detail of what's going on with the central bank digital currencies and some of the issues with that. Obviously, I think there's no avoiding it. It's going to happen. But obviously, we have to understand that there are alternatives and other ways further forward as well. So it's important that we do understand what's going on with the CBDCs. It's good to see that there is good people in the space kind of forming together to basically be advocates for a CBDC created in the right way, rather than one that's being created to potentially control the masses of the people, right? So right now, it's going to be important that if we do see a CBDC get created in the United Kingdom, that it has good structure and is decentralized in its nature rather than centralized, and obviously all that kind of good stuff. So the group of people here, these members, Essentia, Avalanche, Billion Group, CGI Group, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓, Quant, and Ripple are pretty good in the space, and I think they're advocates for central bank digital currencies in a really good way, but also above and beyond that, they are very familiar with the technology as well. So again, I think this is really good news, really positive news. And on that note, let's jump down to the Electroneum charts, where we can actually talk about what's been going on most recently with the price action of ETN. Now, this is again huge progress that has been made so far, and we're going to go through what I can see here in the charts and what my expectations are next. So to start with, obviously, like many of the cryptocurrencies in the space, we have got a huge cup and handle pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly draw this up for you guys. Basically, over in May, around the 10th of May or so, is when we actually started to see this actually form out. But we didn't know it at the time until we kind of got to about the end of August, right? But basically, there's a huge cup that forms just here, right? And then after the cup, we were looking for that handle. And that's exactly what we saw in the month of September. We had that pullback, and then we're basically pulling this down into the nice low area to form the handle. So what you end up with is this nice cup and handle pattern here, and this cup and handle then has an interesting target associated with it. Now, if I actually take it from the right hand side of our cup to the bottom of our cup, we can actually then see that the extension level that we're looking for, the 1.618 on the Fibonacci retracement tool, running from that high and that low of the right hand side of the cup to the low of the cup, and this actually then shows us at 2.8, and that's exactly where we launched up to. Okay, so we've now actually completed that cup and handle pattern, okay, on ETN, and then we started to pull back down in the latter part of September. Okay, so here we can actually see that basically we had that pullback, we started to trade sideways, and then really focused in on that 50% retracement zone. So right now on this daily chart, we can see that cup and handle pattern completed. We pushed up, we obviously pulled that back down, and now obviously we're now looking to continue that growth to the upside. Now, what's really interesting is normally we have a series of waves inside these things. So for example, we would have an a 5 impulse wave to the upside. You guys know how I love my impulse waves on this channel. So basically we can see that we are pushing up in a nice strong way. 5 impulse waves gets us to the top of the cup and handle pattern, right? And then after a 5 impulse waves, we normally follow this with an Elliott correction wave, an ABC, right? And again, this would be an A, B, and C. Now the C actually should have been dropping down lower than the A, and we actually deviated up a little bit, but we haven't gone higher than B just yet. So we could expect to basically pull back down a little bit lower with ETN to complete the ABC correction before we then follow this up with an additional 5 impulse waves to the upside, right? And again, that might be that we push up to the previous high of B, we pull back a little bit, we then push up, and maybe here we then go ahead and seriously tackle out some of these major areas, right? So again, for ETN here, there's some pretty good, interesting kind of progress with this with impulse waves to the upside overall. And it's good to see the cup and handle pattern has completed. We're looking for that ABC. It could be that we actually pull back now a little bit just to get that C wave corrected. Doesn't have to happen, mind. These things, they don't always play out exactly as you might think they do. And again, we could continue that growth to the upside. Now, on this daily chart, we can see that the charts are indicating a good motion back to the upside midway through our stochastic RSI, looking to target up here again towards the 618. That comes in at 2.7 cents. Okay, and a good growth towards the 702 and the 786. Getting the close candle above that 786 is going to be a big bull signal to take us to those next levels. But it's really good to see that we have some fantastic news that really helped push us up significantly in the last kind of 24 to 48 hours. And again, that ABC, the cup and handle getting completed with a 5 impulse waves and an ABC that's potentially still on the horizon unless we push above the B wave. Which again is very, very possible. And again, that would be very bullish for Electroneum pushing on further ahead. Now, as we jump down into our hourly report or hourly chart, here you can see a little bit more of that detail, right? So again, what we're looking for is basically there's your AB, but we haven't actually pulled back down any lower for the C wave. And looking at the charts, we are looking to push back up, right? We were rejected from 2.3 cent resistance, and this is an area that we've been played with for quite some time here, back from September. We've basically been really finding this resistance level just up here at 2.3. Right now, though, there's good traction to the upside, right? So we can see that we are setting these higher lows right now. And again, being oversold, looking to progress up with our stochastic, we could potentially breach that 2.3 cent area and then back test on it and turn it into a support line before we go ahead and try to get back inside the 618 and look for that progression to the upside overall. And ultimately, that's just a short time kind of time period. Ultimately, we are talking about moving Electroneum up to 15.8 cent. That's the 4.236 extension based on the performance of wave 4 here. And again, that would be the high that we actually set on the 27th of March and the low that was set on the 22nd of June. Taking that high and that low, these are the extension levels in the fibs that allow us to kind of see exactly where things are going to go potentially in the future. So we obviously have 6.3 cent as our first target once we go into new all-time highs. After that, it's 9.9 cent, followed by 13.5, and then the 4.236 extension, that full extension coming in at 15.8 cent. Overall, everything's looking pretty good from Electroneum's perspective. We've got some good news and some good partnerships. I don't want to call them partnerships, but a group of members forming that coalition to really help push the United Kingdom to a central bank digital currency, and getting involved with that from Electroneum's point of view is absolutely fantastic to see that they're very active in the space and they are trying to push forward innovation. And again, above and beyond that, we have some pretty interesting targets being set out. We had the completion of our cup and handle, and again, good progress to be made to the upside once we get past that 786, targeting out some really good price discovery towards the end of the bull run. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there, but hopefully you have found this video on Electroneum useful and informative. If you have, then do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.